Karla Schaefer, designer for Antiques Beads, and I'll be demonstrating how to do a netted bracelet using 2-hole beads. I'm going to be actually demonstrating a project out of August version of Bead and Button, and I'm going to be using the 2-hole Czech glass triangle beads. The tools and supplies needed for this project are 2-hole triangle beads, and we'll be using 4 different colors in 1 package each, which is about 5 grams, which is going to equal about 45 to 46 beads, which is enough to make a bracelet. You will also need some fire line. You will need some beeswax to condition the line, a toggle clasp. You'll need a thread zapper and a nipper tool and a ruler. As I said before, you can find the written instructions in August of 2014 Bead and Button magazine. This design is by Diane Fitzgerald. The first thing you need to do is cut 3 yards of the fire line and center your needle on it, and then bring your 2 ends together, and we're just going to tie an overhand knot. And then we're going to take our thread zapper. Actually, we're going to trim this first. First of all, we're going to trim this to about, real close to the knot, a couple of millimeters, so we don't have as much to melt. Then we're going to take our thread zapper, and the thread zapper, again, you just press the button on the side until this tip warms up, and then we're going to melt our ends down to the knot till we form just like a little ball. Then be sure and put the cap back on your thread zapper and set it aside. Now, I don't think I mentioned in the beginning that we're going to be using a 15-0 seed bead and also 3 8-0 seed beads. I know that it seems kind of odd that we only need 3. In fact, if you have probably spare seed beads around, that's what you're going to need. We're going to use those to put the clasp on. But the 15-0s are going to be the ones that we work with, the triangles. And a first little lesson about the triangles is that when they are pointed away from you, the point is away from you, then you have a left. When they're pointed away from you, you have a left and a right hole. In the beginning, we're going to use our left hole, but throughout the rest of the bracelet, we're going to use the right. So when the bead is pointed away from you, you have a left and a right hole. So the first thing we're going to do is, after we've got our thread, we're going to condition it. So I'm just going to run it through my beeswax here. Get some wax on it. And then I'm going to pick up a repeating pattern of our 4 colors. I have arranged my colors in an A, B, C, D color arrangement. This is just going to help me in the beginning, because when we start doing this, you won't actually need that. The first thing we're going to do is thread on a 15-0. Then we're going to go through the left hole of our first color, which is A. We're going to pick up a 15, go through the left hole of the second color, 15, left hole, and a 15 in the left hole. And then we're going to bring these down to just above our knot. Now what we're going to do is that our thread is doubled. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run our needle, if I can get everything around here. I'm going to separate our threads here. I want that right there. I want my 15-0. Here we go. There we go. We're going to run our needle through the 2 threads, like loop, right at the knot, and I'm going to pull this. And this is going to create a circle of our triangles. Get it arranged here. And you'll have something that will look like this. Okay, now we've got our circle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a 15 And what we're going to do now is we're going to be working counterclockwise. So, even though I started with the blue and ended with the pink here, we're going to go through with our needle and our 15-0, we're going to go through the right hole of the pink triangle. All right, now, this is how easy it is to remember the color. The little color pattern that we're going to be working with is whatever color bead you exit from is the next color that you pick up. But we're going to pick up a 15-0 in between every one of them. So I've come out of the pink. I'm going to pick up the pink. But this time, I'm going to be picking up and going through the right hole. And then we're going to go through the hole. Oops, well, I have to say I did this in the very beginning. I would forget to pick up my 15-0. So you pick up a 15, a triangle, and a 15. Run back through the triangle next to it. Pull your thread. You'll get this, and when you make if you forget something, you'll see it, and it's really easy to back out when you forget those 15s. But just you'll have this little repetitive nature going on here soon. So you pick up a 15. I'm coming out of the turquoise, so I'm going to pick up the turquoise. If you do make a mistake and go through, see, I did it again. I forgot my 15. But if you go through the left hole of your bead, it will become evident when we step up. I'll show you where you might come up with that. Okay. Now I've picked up my 15 and going through the silver. Go around, pick up the 15. I'm coming out of a silver, so I'm going to pick up a silver. I'm going to go through the hole of the next one. You want to tighten up the work here a little bit. The way I do that is I just grab the ring and just give it a good tug. Now we're back at the beginning. We came out the blue. I'm going to pick up a 15. See, and I've done it again. See, I'm talking and now I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Don't forget your 15, but you'll be able to tell. So all you gotta do is back out, pick up your 15, then go through. Now, tighten it up again. 15, I'm gonna pick up the blue, and a 15. Now here, if you had this going through the wrong hole, the left hole instead, then your hole would be inside, but we want it out here on the outside here. So now we're stepping up. So now we're just going to skip over here and we're going to go through this one. And you'll start seeing the pattern emerge here shortly. And if you find that you've made a mistake, you can just back out of everything. You don't have to start over if you catch it early enough. And again, a 15, pink, or whatever color you're exiting, and a 15, and then again, go back up through here. And this is all you do for the whole length of the bracelet, and I will tell you this, since it's a little, with the triangles, it's a little lofty, so I actually made my length just a little longer than I normally would before I added a clasp, just so I'd make sure it would go around. So that may be something you'll just have to play around with as far as sizing, but for a 7.5-inch bracelet, I almost made the bracelet itself 7.5 inches, just because of how fluffy the bracelet comes out to be. And if you get knotting like this, that's what the conditioning is supposed to help do, but just kind of pull it out. And again, I forgot my 15. So just do this several rounds. We'll do it a couple more rounds, and then we'll show you how much further you can go. Working with double strands sometimes will cause some problems, and you need to be careful not to split your thread. There we go. And if everything gets all out of whack like this, just relax and work it through. See, here I've got my thread actually through the loop. It's a lot of thread to work with, so sometimes you do get a little tangled. But once you get the pattern going, it goes pretty easily. Now that I got my knot out, it's just, like I said, it's so much thread and it's doubled, it just kind of gets tangled up. So now that I've got my 15-0, I'm coming out the silver, so I'm going to pick up another silver and go through this blue. If you continue to have a lot of knots, you may want to go ahead and run your thread back through the beeswax. Tighten everything up ever so often. You're going to start seeing a slight spiral to this after about 2 or 3 rounds. See this spiral in color? And then you just continue this pattern throughout the length of the bracelet. Alright, so this is the one that I've got almost completely done. And as I said, you could see the little spiral come in to play with the color. And I am about 7 inches. Now if I were to put this around my wrist, you can see that I'm pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more rounds and finish this off. So what we do is I'm still continuing. I'm coming out of the silver. So I'm going to pick up a silver. And it's easy to know which one to go through because there's always this one kind of popping up with the empty hole there. Pick it up. And I don't care how many times I've done this, I still forget that other bead, that other 15. There we go. And pick up your 15. The color you're coming out of. If you were to do this in 2 colors according to her pattern, then you would make your A and C the same color and your B and your D the same color. And that's how you would get the little twist. Also in Diane's pattern, she suggests that you try this with different kinds of 2-hole beads, even super duos, and even varying your beads within the work, which I have not tried yet, but this is such a cool pattern. I think I'm going to have to try it with some other beads or maybe even different ones in the same bracelet. See what it comes out like. And as I said, as far as the 8-ohs, you only need 3 of them. And I suppose you could use any kind of small bead to do your clasp with if you didn't want or didn't have just a couple of 8-ohs that would blend or go with your mix. Doesn't necessarily have to be the same color as your 15. In fact, mine's not the same color, but it's just close. Okay, I'm going to go one more round and then we're going to check and see on our length. Then we'll add our clasp. This is a easy level bracelet. I thought it was going to be hard and it really isn't. Okay. Alright, let's check. I'm about where I think I need to be, so I'm going to set that aside. And the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to kind of close up this tube. So I want to close up everything that has a hole in it. So what I'm going to do now is sometimes they get kind of inside. See, this one right here kind of falls into the inside of the tube. So what I'm going to do is pick up a 15 and go directly through the next triangle. Pick up another 15. Go through this triangle. What we're doing is just kind of cinching this closed, and another one. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick up another 15 and go through my last triangle, even though we've already got a thread going through there. And now we're going to be ready to add the bar of our clasp, and that is where we're going to use 2 of the 8/0s. So I'm going to pick up 2 8/0 seed beads, drop them down, and then I'm going to pick up the half of the bar. So I've got my 2 8/0s in the bar now. And now all we're going to do is go through those 2 8/0s again and tighten this up till we bring the bar down to the work. See what we've got now. And then I'm just going to go through this next triangle opposite of the one that I was coming out of. So it's the silver one for me. Come out of there. Not the 15, just the triangle. Okay. And then we're going to go back up the 8/0s and through the clasp. Again. And do this a couple of times. Go through and go back down. And go back through the triangle. Oops, don't want to get it on the bar. And then back up through the 8/0s and through the clasp again. And then we're going to go tie off our work and use our thread zapper to end our thread, and we'll be able to finish the other side. So I'm just going to go back through here. And then I'm going to work it through. I'm going to go ahead and work it through this 15 in this triangle. Going to slip it under the thread there. Tie a half hitch knot. And go back through the next one. And tie another knot. And a half hitch knot again is taking your needle and thread up under a thread, creating a loop, and bringing your needle through it. So I'm going to go back through this 15 and triangle, and then I'm going to zap this thread. And again, push the button until your tip gets hot. And burn your thread. Now all we need to do is rethread our needle with about 8 inches of thread and add our loop toggle. Okay, so I threaded my needle with about 8 inches thread, doubled it, tied a knot in it, made the little ball with the thread zapper. Now what I've done is I've just run it through a 15 in a triangle. Now I'm ready to pick up the last 8/0. I'm going to drop it down to the work. And then we're going to pick up the loop of the toggle. And we're going to do just like what we did with the bar. So I'm going to run it back through. Get it nice and tight here. And I'm just going to run my, where was I emerging? Find the triangle I was emerging from and go through the opposite. Just the triangle, not the 15. There we go. And then I'm going to run it back through the bead and the loop a couple more times. I'm going to go one more time, and then we're going to tie it off as we did the other end. I'm going to run it back through, make a couple of hitch knots, and we will have completed our bracelet. And zip our thread. And you completed your bracelet. And I did want to show you another color option that I did when I was learning how to do this stitch. It's just a really fun, versatile netted bracelet.